Yes.
A video following directions on the Town of Wolfeboro website, posted on the homepage of the virtual county login information page. Providing public notice of necessary information for such a meeting, we previously gave notice to the public about access to the meeting, in person and over to go to the meeting, and instructions provided on the Town of Wolfeboro website, at Wolfeboro NHWS, on the virtual county login information page. Providing mechanisms for the public to limit provide every meeting to a policy document. If anyone has any problems with just one media or one computer, please be called to show their meetings for a 2692 or email atndsorg@gmail.com. In the event the public will never access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and we schedule for a later time. Thank you. Okay, everyone can join me in pledge of allegiance.
Hi Brenda, how you doing?
I'm okay. This budget really has very limited changes from previous budgets.
Can I just get you to pull your mic a little closer? Great, thank you.
This budget really has very few changes from previous budgets.
Okay.
Because of the state of affairs that have gone on this last year, there hasn't been a whole lot going on to change things up. The only probably significant change would be in the wages. I'm anticipating using some people a little more overtime this coming year, hoping to retire.
Okay.
So that's probably the biggest change.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I got to say that, Brenda came to me very early about this. We coordinated this really early, so she was able to forecast what she may be looking at for time. And as well, this could be one of those areas, if Brenda does decide to retire toward the end of the year, where we would utilize some of those funds that were put into that capital reserve fund last year for leave time buyout.
She realizes we're not going to let her retire, right?
I told her that same thing. Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
good.
Good luck.
I think we do a vote on that, don't we?
Okay, so let's take a look at the 100 series, which is the supervisor's salaries.
John?
Yes, sir.
John, regarding Brenda, I was looking at the list of wages for department heads that Jim was kind enough to send to us recently. And I deducted two things from this that I think we need to do a wage study throughout the towns. But one thing that was glaringly obvious to me is that we have three people who have served the town faithfully for years and years, who seem to be the lowest paid persons, lowest paid department heads. First one is Pat Waterman, the second one is Brenda LaPointe, and the third one is Cindy Scott. They seem to be the lowest paid of almost everybody who's leading a department. So I thought it would be justified, even without a wage study of comparable jobs throughout the state, to give these three ladies a little bit of a bump over the selectmen's number. So with that in mind,
We're dealing with a technical difficulty. We can't hear you. Please hold on.
The 100 series looks to me like there's the retirement makes up the biggest part of the 200 series when we get to it.
Yeah.
The retirement number is the big one.
Okay.
Mr. Tupper, as they work through the technical difficulties, this is Kathy in Finance. I know you were technically helping Mr. Burt, but it looks like he has left the meeting also. So when you're done speaking, I don't know if you could help him get back on.
Kathy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I heard your whole speech too, so.
Okay, John Burt called me and told me that his computer decided to restart itself, and that he would be back with us shortly. But so thank you.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Okay, so I'll make this short and sweet. I make a motion to add 2.5% regular point salary, which would bring it up to $6,089.
You want one number at a time and then you number box.
Okay, so Brenda's 2021 proposed salary, 67,404. I make a motion to add 2.5% to that and bring it up to $69,089.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, this will be a roll call vote, and this is to increase line 115 supervisor salaries to a new number of $69,089.00. Bob Tucker?
Yes.
Steve Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Bell?
Yes.
Bob Bowman?
Yes.
Ron Holland?
Yes.
Ryan Black? Ben Black?
Yes.
John Burke?
John Burke's out of service right now. His computer decided to do a restart in the middle of this meeting.
Okay, you're going to vote yes, and the motion passes. Okay, anything else on the 100 series?
John, I just have one comment, totally in favor of the recommendation that you get involved with a salary look fee and do an analysis of that for all departments.
Okay, thank you, Steve. 200 series. Mr. Town Manager, do we need to make a correction to the retirement side of this budget based on that change in salary?
John, you want to motion?
I can do that calculation, if the board wants to do that. That particular, increase in wage is gonna be a minimal amount, so I'm not terribly concerned about it.
Okay, so you can live with what you have there?
I think we can live within that.
Okay, great, thank you. 300 series?
$400.
400 series? 500 series?
Yeah, is John online yet?
No.
I was just gonna ask him for a 5-year average on 550 printing. Just wondering if we ever get to that need of 28,000.
Steve, you're gonna have to talk into the mic a little clearer. We can't quite hear you over here.
On line 550, I was hoping to get 5-year average from John. It seems like the 28,000 figure seems to be more than adequate. I'd like to get the 5-year average just to see if we can make an adjustment there.
John, if you want to take a minute, I'll call him up to see if he can look that up.
Okay.
In the interest of time, Brenda, maybe you could talk to that number, 28,000.
Unfortunately, for printing, that has not changed a lot. We've been lucky that we have the same company that produces our bills over time, and they haven't really changed their costs to us at all, probably in the last 5 years. One of the things to keep in mind is even though we have some people that are going paperless, they're still is a cost for that as well. So it's not like when people go paperless, there's no charge for it. We do reduce some of our postage costs somewhat when people go paperless. The other thing is that we have seen an increase in the last 5 years in the number of bills that we do send out, with the number of new residents and whatnot in town, buildings and whatnot. We have more electric bills, not necessarily tax bills, because the costs will stay the same, but the utilities, we've seen an increase over the last 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, John Bird advised me the 5-year average on line 550 is $24,613.
Thank you, Bob.
Well,
Okay, anything else in the 500 series? 600. 700. 800.
800. And I believe that's it on the town clerk's budget. Any questions concerning the, excuse me, the tax collector's budget? My apologies. Brenda, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas. Okay, how are we making out on Mrs. Waterman?
She's left, apparently, and I do not see her online. So I'm not sure what to tell you. Mr. Chairman, we can go through the budget if you like. I get a pretty good idea of what most of the items are. It's your discretion.
Okay. If that's what you'd like, Mr. Town Manager, we can do that. Okay, let's take a look at the town clerk budget. 100 series.
Yes, John.
Yes, sir.
It is me again. So line number 113, I'm requesting to do the same thing with Pat Waterman's salary, which I think is kind of low. So the selectmen's number I have is $64,622, and I make a motion to raise that number 2.5% to $66,238.
I kind of look at the tax collector and the town clerk as equal in their responsibilities. They both do an excellent job. They generate a lot of money for revenue for the town. They do an excellent job, and they've been long-time employees. Would you have any trouble, Bob, increasing the motion to what the town clerk currently is making? The town tax collector?
I have no problem with that at all. I just didn't want to push the envelope too much on this issue, and I'd be very happy to equalize Pat Waterman's salary with Brenda LaPointe's at $69,089.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I know there's a motion on the table. If you when the motion is either seconded or not, would you allow me a chance to speak?
I'll second it, and then we can open up the discussion.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, John. I think that there was salary research done in 2016, Mr. Pinio, is that correct?
Yeah, so the last wage study that was done was in 2016 by MRI, and that was produced and came out in September or October of 2016.
So, I think it's genuinely a nice idea to have impressions and feelings about raising people's or lowering people's salary. But unless I misunderstand, we set salaries based upon salary research that was done 4 years ago. If you want to raise so my advice to you folks is, if you want to raise the bottom line of the budget and recommend that it be used for a certain purpose, go ahead and do that. But we have salary research, which is done by a third party, which we paid the money to do. And I just, out loud, my personal feeling is I worry that we will create a why not me. What did I not do to win the favor of a few people? So I'm just going to caution us that I'd advise you, if you want to do it, raise the bottom line. And we have salary research that we'd be glad to share with you folks. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have just a comment. The comment would be, as far as raising salaries, of course we want to be in a line, and it needs to be recognition of the
Yes.
Based on a study that I did on all these supervisory salaries and director salaries, the town clerk's 64,622 as proposed by the Board of Selectmen puts her above the 90th percentile on a nationwide average. I just say that for what it's worth.
And I mean, the other caveat to this is, I believe it was last year, we celebrated 50 years of Ms. Waterman's employment with the town of Wolfeboro. So she is a very long-term employee.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thanks, John. So Bob, Bob Lohman, I haven't seen your work, and I'd like to get a look at that. But I think what I just heard you say is the result you get when you hire somebody, and I'm not going to say MRI, but when you hire salary research, you get exactly that. You get a min, you get a max, and then you get a calculation that says where are you on a national average or an average around the neighborhood, the town, the county, the world. Again, I just simply say that, and I'm not lecturing here, but I caution us that having an impression and then creating an increase in salary based upon a good feeling, which we have about all of our people, and I appreciate that, puts all of us in a situation of somebody saying, well, why not me? And I just would recommend that you consider giving us some advice, asking us for more data before we start raising salary. I use the word arbitrarily, and maybe make cause for some concern here, before we just arbitrarily raise the number. Thank you.
Yeah, John. Yes, sir. Paul, I appreciate that argument, and I thank you. And that's a very good argument about the using later on in the discussion. I want to have a preliminary discussion later regarding this reorganization of the DPW, and we could use the same argument with Dave Ward. This is not an emotional decision on my part. I evaluated this sheet that Jim Henry sent us, and that woman, after 50 years of service, just might be the lowest paid department head in the town of Wolfeboro. And when you look at the work she has done over the last 2 years, particularly this year, she's handled the pandemic very well. She handled the absentee voting perfectly, and she had a numerous amount of motor vehicle registration. She's run a very busy office the last couple of years, and also, I just find it very interesting that a three lowest paid department heads, a long-time service individuals who all three happen to be women. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. But that's another issue. So I think that woman deserves this raise. I think a person with 50 years of dedicated service to the town of Wolfeboro should get this raise. Thank you.
We'll take that as advice.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Seeing that the motion is to increase line 113 to $69,089. This will be a roll call vote. Bob Tucker?
Yes.
Steve Johnson? Tom Ballard?
I agree completely.
Yes, okay. Bob Bowman?
No.
Bob Bowman? Brian Black?
Yes, we understand that it's still,
Everything else up to you. You decided which one to be answered?
Yes, I'm going to vote no with the comment that I would.
I don't need any comments. It's the vote.
No.
Thank you. Matt Glenn?
yes.
John Burns, unavailable? I vote yes. I see there's 5 yes.
John?
Yes, sir.
I move to have the town adjust the 200 series lines in accordance with that salary hike.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick math on that.
For this particular line, it'd be approximately $358.
Can you absorb that with what's in the budget, you think?
In 2019, she had an approved budget of $202,752, and the actual expense was $192,328.
Okay.
So I think we can probably absorb this within the operating budget.
Did you hear that, Bob?
Yeah, yes, I did. So I withdraw the motion.
I'd also like to remind you that I think we could revisit Cindy Scott's salary during our review, a budget review meeting.
Okay, very good, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, yes, sir.
Just so you're aware, that also will fall under the board of trustees regarding that, but I will just be aware.
What we
So, when the trustees of the library, I believe, set the wages for the library employees, just so you're aware.
Right, this is, we're talking about a person that is elected by the people. A person that's running for that office has the right to know before they run what the salary is.
Correct.
So if someone be a choice, if someone chooses not to, they can get $50 per hour.
Let's just say,
Yeah, okay. 200 series. Series. Series.
on 434, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
There's a note here, underneath, that says in order for column 5, change back to 200, what does that mean? What was the line answer? Line 434, office equipment maintenance, which is proposed at 1,000, and last year was 200. We're going up to 1,000, but there's a note underneath that says change back to 200, what does that mean?
Yep, so you are correct, so this should have been, received adjustment back to $200, and it did not, so thank you for the catch, I will write that down.
So in other words, line 434 in actual fact is 200.
That is correct, thank you.
Okay, so we would be 400, 500, 600. 700. And 800.
There are no department heads who receive overtime.
Okay, let's do our phone call.
So, Mr. Chairman, we have, tonight we have, our new planning director, and we have the code enforcement officer, while we're getting a new code enforcement. Steve Pickett is our new code enforcement officer. We hired him. We were able to attract Steve here from the town of Belmont. Steve has 13 years, I believe it was, in the town of Belmont as a code enforcement officer. And he's heavily involved in the state as far as building code. With that said, I have him take a minute to introduce himself and tell you what he's sent out to.
Good evening. My name is Steve. He comes here from the town of Belmont. He's a little bit on his years. I had 10 years with the town of Belmont. I had 3 years prior to that in the state of Connecticut where I came from. And prior to that 3 years, I had 15 years of running my own architectural firm, doing high-end residential. So I have a large background in business, or in building. When I came to the state of New Hampshire, I got involved with the New Hampshire Building Officials Association, which for the past 2 years I have acted as their vice president, and prior to that I was on the board of directors for 6 years. I do a lot with the state with the legislation down in Concord. I testify for a lot of bills that affect my end of the code enforcement and building inspection department. So I am heavily involved in it. You guys come to Wolfeboro and start playing some bigger and better projects, right? Okay, let's start at the 1 series.
113.
Yes.
Just a comment. Again, my analysis of all the management positions in the town of Wolfeboro is compared to national averages. Code enforcement officers, 53 Ks in the 90th percentile, 26 Ks in the 10% percentile. And we're talking about 67 by 58. Just a comment. It is just a comment.
We have 20 series. Series.
That's correct. So we do have a code enforcement officer vehicle, which is actually a town vehicle, which can be used by other departments. So, for example, we've had with the electric department over the past week, they've been piled up with obviously the storm we just had. The building and collections office needed they were going to send somebody from the building collections office to generate a couple of meters. But there is a new Chevy Colorado pickup truck that we bought at the end of 2019 under state bid.
And that's the same to the gentleman,
He is responsible for it, but as I said, it is a town vehicle for private speech.
So, Mr. Chairman, does that mean that you guys have personal vehicle to the town hall and then take it from there?
That is correct.
Okay, so we will not be taking it home.
No, I mean, he does not take it home, but, if he got into a pinch where, he had to go to Concord for a class or something, we may authorize him to take the vehicle home so he can go to Concord from there.
Question for you, Mr. Manager, on the salaries. Looking at 2019 and, sorry, 2019 and 2020. And there is a record capacity on salary, assuming you felt it necessary to go there to get someone.
Yeah, so we really, when we interviewed, we did not have a huge pool of candidates. And quite frankly, this was the minimum amount that we could offer to attract a person.
Do you think we're given stats on national averages? Do you think this part of the movement, this part of the picture is high for those officers versus other parts?
Like relative to pay, relative to the current pay, no, I think it's actually on the lower end based on the experience that the man has. If this was an unexperienced individual, then I think it would be a different level, but based on the experience that he has, I think it's on the lower end.
Okay, 15
John took you out there and finally back out. What budget are we talking about?
We're in 44,000 jobs. And we're in 600 years. I'll give you a minute to get on it. You okay, John? You okay?
I'm here and thank you. If you think you can control a computer, then don't tell you no.
Okay. 600 series. 800 series. And that's it for quarter four. Any questions for both or there's no Okay. Let's go to take it to the name directly.
We do. So we have a planning director who's well aware of Sullivan left us to go to Nashua. Just to put it out there, Mr. Sullivan and I did try to have some negotiations, but it was kind of one-sided. He was not going to stick around, and he said there was no way that we could reach the offer that he was making. As a result, we posted the position. We got a pool of candidates. We interviewed. Upon completing the interviews, we made an additional job offer, and we were able to bring Tavis on to the town of Wolfeboro. Tavis spent, I believe, the past 6. 5 years in Strata as a town planner there, and he's got an excellent background in planning. With that said, I'd just like to have him take a couple minutes and introduce himself.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, my name is Travis Austin. Jim pointed out I started in Stratham in 2016, so technically it was 4.8 years, I suppose, in Stratham. Prior to that, I'm originally from upstate New York, in the Cooperstown area. That became relevant later because after going to college and learning at economics, I worked in fairly large urban areas to very rural areas, California, northern Utah, upstate New York, and then I was attracted to New Hampshire. One of the things that drew me to Wolfeboro specifically was, one, staying in New Hampshire, and two, having a very similar environment to that which I grew up in Cooperstown, with a large lake, tourism-based economy, largely an aging population, without meaning to offend anyone, and then a bunch of the development potential that I saw going on in Wolfeboro, conversions of smaller homes to larger homes, Rooster Academy, hospital, it's all part of a very unique community as I see it. So I'm happy to bring 17 plus years of professional planning experience to Wolfeboro, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to look forward to working with each of you.
I prefer to refer to some of it as season rather than aging.
Okay, well, welcome. It's always a great day.
Okay, let's start the 100 series. Any questions on the 100 series?
Just for raising people's word level, nationwide average, high and low, 10 winners, 89K is the 90th percentile, so well.
Okay, thank you. 200 series?
Excuse me, John.
Yes, go ahead.
I see a big increase in the telephone again. And it seems like that across the board, the telephone, the line is up to 15, 20% across the board. I don't understand it.
You trying to get something?
So, excellent question. I believe that part of this is the administrative assistant cell phone stipend. Short of that, I don't know because it looks like these are fairly consistent numbers. So that's all I can really state at this point. But you know, if you look at what we've expended as of October, it was $1,907. So I think we're in line on the budget.
Okay, good. John? Yes.
I'm wondering if the long distance, $468, is that correct? Or is that the cell phone?
I do not know.
So you really paying for long distance? Yes, there is a charge for long distance.
200, 300.
Line 560, like a stupid increase, where's it coming from?
I actually believe that increase is a result of an increase to the Lakes Region Planning Commission dues.
Do you know how much dues to the average
specifically for certain costs based on population. I believe the number that's in here is not entirely correct. Let me take a look at that.
Yeah, Joe, I think that was a lot of people to do. Whether we went to Jeff Hayes and had a lot of representatives, you clarify it, and it started out being wrong, or we said, "Gee, that's weird," and I think you guys have learned to respond. Not that I know what works, but I think it's fun. We should check it.
Hold on. Paul, you make a good observation, thank you. I received an email after reaching out to Jeff Haynes on October 26th of this year, and that actually, that legislation planning commission should be $9,802. So I make a motion that we, or suggest we make a motion. What about
Correct, those would be on top of it.
So the total request is $10,200. Correct. Okay, I make a motion to change line 550 to the amount of $10,202. That's the request for the town manager.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Rob Puffer? Yes. Steve Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Bell?
Yes.
Bob Holman?
Yes.
Bob Holman?
Yes.
Brian Black?
Yes.
Matt Fleisch?
Yes.
John Burke?
Yes.
And John McDonald votes yes. 9-0, motion passes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. Do a little research on the conversation we had earlier. RSA 37:6, paragraph 2, town manager duties to complete upon merit fitness alone to remove all performance officers and employees under his control may fix their compensation. That is his authority. His authority alone.
Okay, thank you. $603. $803. And that is going to be into the planning department budget. And then we've got the planning board. Okay, one series. Your practice is wrong,
According to Travis, some of that was moved to the ZBA.
Okay. So this is for you, and this money is exclusively Food series. Student series. Last year, they did the recommendation of 2019 national plan A night, we were supposed to do, they did that night. Last 2019, or 2020, the town approved the budget of $7,000 for some type of project. And so far, they've only spent $3,384 on the year expense. Now they want $5,000. What, did they get what they were supposed to get done last year, or are they still working on last year's projects?
My understanding is that charrette was approved or proposed, and then because of COVID, that was put on hold, so that is still, that is under next year.
Okay. So you still got $3,600 left from last year's expense this year.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes, right.
So you're able to just straight over $4,000 by the rest.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get what you said there.
The five-year average is just a shade over $4,000.
Okay, thank you. Do you want me to make a motion, John?
Yeah, I make a motion that this line be changed, it is $4,000.
Okay, so a second?
Second.
And what do we have for discussion? Yes, now this should be line 380, line 380. These are the new planners that we looked at this year.
Based on the information I have in front of me, we can probably make that work. But again, I've only been here about 4 weeks, so taking $1,000 out for 4 weeks makes me a little nervous. But the master plan is done, so it's just something else that's going to have to be trimmed.
Okay.
And I'll have a better explanation for you in here.
So, yes, and then you will give it. Yeah, I think we can make that work. Great, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion is to reduce line 380 to $4,000. This is the roll call vote. Rob Tucker.
Yes.
Steve Johnson.
Yes.
Carl Bell.
Yes.
Paul Malone.
Yes.
Frank Martin. That's it. John Burke.
Yes.
And John McLaughlin, yes.
Chairman, do I get to vote?
What's that?
Do I get to vote?
I'm sorry, Bob, I apologize. Paul Malone?
Yes.
8-1. Motion passed. Okay, Franklin Series.
Line 562. Please.
What would you like to know about?
Well, you see a big spike in advertising, and I'm just curious as to what the necessity is.
John, in this line, the 5-year average, much lower. It's about below 1,500.
Mr. Chairman, and
5-year average.
as of October, we spent $4,005.
That's amazing.
But anything that you use advertising for the position, anything?
I don't believe it was for positions. I think it was all hearings.
And for the board's information, if I may, there's a large, I mean, Steve and I both noticed this, but there's a large discrepancy between what the town is charging in application fees as opposed to what it costs to advertise. So a typical application might be $50, but putting that public hearing notice in the paper is just over $160. So it's possible, I'm not going to question that number. I think 4,000 is probably low. So we're already past $4,000 in October, and November, December are also approved. But it is possible that we can look at increasing the application fees so there's more money coming in to offset that increase.
Okay. Any questions about advertising and that?
I would guess that the application fee increase would be apropos at this point. So I know it's a legal line the way it is, but I know that I highly recommend that those application fees be looked at and increased.
Yeah. So we have had preliminary conversations about all of that. So this that is a set. There are certain parts of the business that we're doing that fall in line. And this is a perfect.
The other piece of that to keep in mind is if no projects come in, none of that is spent. So with this number, it's really a projection or an educated guess, if you will. There's nothing to base it on. I would say it should be rather encouraging that that number of projects are coming in and require review. So it should be offsetting itself both on the development side as well.
Okay, Chicken Series. And Bacon Series. That should be it on the money. Okay, zoning board.
Say again, Jim, please.
Zoning board. Zoning board. Zoning? One and two. One and two. Three and two.
Yeah, the question was recently on the legal, kind of hit or miss, I don't think we need it or not. We have, now have a contingency kind of thing whereby zoning runs legal and they go from there. Is that a bit more of that way to put it, if you want to keep the legal line in place?
So the town has a full legal line, as you're aware, in the executive budget. As far as the contingency, other than that, no. Matt and I had some pretty heavy discussions regarding the legal. He felt that this number was a solid number, and it made him feel very comfortable with where we're at.
The driveway average is over $4,000, so there's no problem in my mind with this number of 5,000.
Okay, 500 series. 600 series. 800 series. That's it for 24. Okay, next one will be my repair executive. Second one, yes. Where's the building?
Just for clarity, I didn't hear the recommendation to reduce the movement.
Yes, sorry, Tom, I didn't come back.
That's okay, that's all right, that's all right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then we're going to slide over to the Brewster building budget. Which is the, that, one of your board. Okay, 100 series. 200 series. 400.
Yes, John.
Yes, sir.
Just a couple of brief comments on lines 410, 411, electricity, and heat and oil. I pulled out my 2013 budget, and prior to the renovation and model central heating system, we budgeted $33,316 for electricity because everybody was using electric heaters to stay warm. Now, a combination of the electricity and heat and oil lines becomes a total of $29,053, so a little more than $4,000 less. While at the same time heating approximately 5,000 more square feet of space, being the Great Hall, the lobby area in the back of the staircase going down to the street, and the kitchen area. So maybe there were some people not happy with a little more improvements to get away from fossil fuels. I think this was still a very good move as far as energy reduction in this building. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
You may not recall, but last year, the chiller, which is up here in the crawl space above the stage, had a water leak. And that water leak was recognized because somebody came into the office on Sunday afternoon. It took down the ceiling in the kitchen. It took down the ceiling in the town clerk's office. It destroyed a large amount of sheetrock. And it also required a replacement of a coil in the unit, which is about $7,000, I believe. While this is showing a significant increase, this is where those funds came from. We have received offsetting insurance claims. So that's the bulk of that. And that work is actually just finishing up now. Since that time, improved fail-safe has been installed in the chiller. That fail-safe will detect water. If it detects water, it will shut the valve off, stop the flow of water, and it actually sends an alarm to somebody that advises that there's a problem with the unit.
Very good, thank you. Okay, 400. 600. John, excuse me, yes, sir.
433 and 440. Assume you don't have duplication there because we don't know what's property is in two places. I see a line 433, I see $302,000, 440, property is 2493.
So, yeah, this is actually, we will be reviewing this summer. This is the last year of our copy release. So we pay for the 2 copiers at Town Hall, and then we also pay an annual rental maintenance agreement.
Thank you. Okay, 600 series. 700 series.
Yes, John?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know if anybody's wiping the clock.
The clock is being run, yes.
We have had a couple of issues with the clock. We've had a cable issue that finally got resolved. I believe right now, if you look at it, the faces, there's one of the faces, the time is off. The team is working on figuring out how to deal with that. They're bringing in the guy who works on the clock to show us how to do it. But yes, we do have some new ones.
Thank you.
Okay, we can have a 700 series.
Excuse me, John.
Yes, sir.
630, please.
Yeah.
Looking at 2-year money back expense for 2019, 2020, 2019, about $2,600. 2020, $4,000 yet. John Burke, you have a 5-year average on it? Line 630.
Just a little bit under $2,000, or $1,900.
Make a motion to reduce that line to $2,000.
$2,000.
Correct, 2,000.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
Yes, I have
Yes,
some.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think 2,000 might be just a little bit low, since we're in the middle of a pandemic. Sometimes these supplies are getting very expensive to buy if you can find this stuff. So I think it might be going a little low on this one.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to hear Jim Pinio's explanation. I don't know if he was muted when he was trying to speak.
Wasn't muted, but, so what I would say about this is, in 2019, we spent $2,500. As of the end of September, we had spent $1,600. I'm pulling up right now what we spent through December. You know that, right? I'll pull that up, but I have to agree with Mr. Pepper. I think the 2,000 is a little low. I disagree. I think we could probably find some efficiencies.
But just to add to that, line 80, which we haven't gotten to yet, year-to-date for COVID-related expenses, which has such many of the similar items in it, is just under $6,000. And 880 is proposed again, going into 21 at $1,600. So $1,600 plus $2,000 is $3,600, so $4,000 seems about right. But I would also suggest perhaps
reduce line 630 to $2,000. And this will be a roll call vote. Bob Tucker?
No.
Steve Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Bell?
No, I think you will. I can see, well, maybe his connection drops.
Johnson? Okay. Bob Martin?
Yes.
Bob Martin?
No.
Brian Black? Matt Price?
Yes.
John Burke?
No.
And Chuck votes no. Motion fails 5-3.
Mr. Chairman, somebody just came back on the right meeting, Mr. Bell.
Yeah, John, the record has been vote no.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chairman, I was able to pull up the data. To date, we spent $2,900.18 in that account.
Okay, thank you.
John, I'd like to make another motion here that we reduce that line to 3,000. That line is running, code gave $900, $4,600. So I make a motion and this by the 6 line down to 3,000.
Okay, John, so if I understand, the motion is to line 630, you want to make it $3,000?
That is correct.
Okay, is there a second? And a second. Any further discussion? Second the motion. Seeing here again, we'll roll call vote. The motion is to reduce line 630 to $3,000. Bob Comfort?
Yes.
Steve Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Bell?
Yeah.
Bob Mullen?
Yes.
Bob Mullen?
Yes.
Brian Black? Matt Price?
Yes.
John Burke?
Yes.
And John Bell votes yes. 9-0. That line is now $3,000. Okay. 700 series, 800 series, and that is it for Bruce Building. Okay, let's go to executive.
John, was that executive?
What's that?
Executive?
Yeah, executive. Yep. Whatever series.
John, I have a question first. It's a mechanics, okay?
Yep.
I noticed on the right, the cover sheet, it says there are no employees. And yet, you're showing 2 employees, part-timers and all that. Should that be reflected on the cover sheet?
You would be correct, that is my error.
Okay, thank you.
The part-time position for the
chamber runs the time cards and then they're distributed to town hall has the payroll check for this.
Okay, thank you. Food service. Reading series. John, can you give a 5-year average on 320 legal expenses?
You want the 5-year average of 320?
Yes, it's legal expenses.
120,000, a little bit over $120,000.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, John.
Yeah.
One quick question, on 381 on cable channel, this may be for Paul, right? Is the cable review expansion on Roberts Road, is that included in this number?
Probably not. Because the construction hasn't begun. And this afternoon, we still don't have, go ahead and answer the call out to start construction out there. Once they construct, then you have to get subscribers. And we have no idea how many subscribers in the Auto-Generated area and sign up. So we didn't book any forecast of revenues, which would be 4% of whatever they buy. So that number is not in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
That's a good question, Paul. You say that the revenue is not in that line? We're not talking about revenue here, we're talking about expenses.
The way this works, I'm being asked is Route 3 Road, people construction contains land the answer is no.
John Burke, can we have a 5-year average on that line? 381.
$98,000.
Thank you.
Okay, foreign series. 500 series. 600 series.
Done.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get to my microphone switch back, I'm sorry. On 562 advertising, the line is almost spent the last 2 years in a row, well, this year and last year. And I did for legal runs and things like that. So I was just wondering if we're plugging in a little low on this one.
The 5-year average is a little bit lower than $4,000. It's $3,600.
Okay, thank you, John. 600.
Yeah, John, just getting back to that, I just would like to get an opinion from Jim Video that what happens a month.
Yeah, so we talked about this, myself and Amy, and we felt that we could stay at this level and continue to watch the averages going forward.
Thank you.
Okay, 600. 800. Okay, what's this new one here, Wolfeboro Water? I don't remember seeing that before.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Wolfeboro Waters Committee came to us with a request this year to continue performing their work. And honestly, the best
what they tax there, what are they doing?
Nice to meet you.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you. We have a history lesson a few years ago. We had a spiral bacteria outbreak in Kerry Beach. We put together a team of people, volunteers, three things that they do. First is there's an assessment committee, and that assessment committee on a voluntary basis comes out and samples water across all of our water bodies in the town. They have to buy a kit, assessment kit that gets sent down to UNH to test. The state doesn't test at any degree of frequency. They test for cyanobacteria in their harbor. They test for it in our other lakes as well. There's a communications subcommittee that I chair. We go on the website, you go to www.wolfeboro.com, you can go right into the town website and go to the water site. That website now has all of our test data. It has information about all of our water bodies. It has a BNP that Dave Ford works on. So it's kind of a resource place where people can go. And the reason we ask for at least somebody in the communications committee, that's just IT meetings and things of that nature. And then there's a mitigation team. That mitigation team, which is headed up by Captain Barnard, takes a hard look at making sure that we're sequencing the right kind of mitigation efforts, getting communications up to people, and working on those programs that have to get done. Linda and I co-chair the Wolfeboro Water. Linda, if I missed anything, maybe in the assessing, you can fill in the blanks. There's a lot of work that gets done, and I think I can't do it justice to tell the people what to do.
Is that one case for the testing being done? Not the first people who are doing the testing, but the sampling, taking the sampling to labs, to the, and do the analysis done. Last year, this money was in the water department for water, and we moved it and put it in here, similar to the milfoil that it is the state committee. We are employed with our legs that we need to be watching the water quality because we're finding out that we don't get cyanobacteria and other mainly cyanobacteria, and there are many different kinds, and they have not. So we felt this was an appropriate place to put it in each year, and we'll get in, you can see how what the numbers are, and hopefully build support here.
Question.
Yes.
All these $18,650, if we're doing this with volunteers, what are the expenses for? May I ask?
Chemical, they have tubes, they get the water, and then it goes to the laboratory, and that laboratory does the test and costs us money. We sometimes, if we have an outbreak of cyanobacteria, it may go over to Bigelow Labs and they can turn it around in a short period of time. The state of New Hampshire was unable to do that. So we have our ability to get into Bigelow Labs. We have to have the bottles and the testing supplies. We have gotten some free from UNH, but not enough to do all the different tests that we need to do.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
I would recommend that we table this line for now. I would like to see the actual backup. When we look at it, it looks like we're paying these people to do volunteering. I've got a list of supplies that we use and testing data and all that sort of business. I prefer that being back so we have something to hang our head on.
I can just answer the answer question. This is, how did you pay for this past year?
As Linda said, it was in warrant article form in 2019.
If I look at the historic records, when we reported the extra budget, back in this department has always had about $67,000 or $80,000 left. in its budget each year. 2019, approved 377,518, actual expense was 336, some change. 2020, 39556, up to, I guess, October, spent 301,943. And I'm just wondering, it seems to be kind of overfunded, and I'm wondering why it can't be absorbed into the 2020 request or 2021 request.
Well, you're gonna appropriate something also you can't spend in emergency. So there has to be some appropriation for the waters.
Yeah, so I'm pulling up, looking at it now. But, you know, they came to us with this very specific request. And that specific request laid out where those funds are going to be allocated. We felt that we put it in there. Why we can't reduce some of the other lines? Well, that's a fair question. You know, we had a good couple of years as far as legal expenses, but as John told you, the 5-year average tells you that we've had some bad years as well. So right now, in this particular budget, and we've still got invoices that will come forward for legal, but right now we have a balance in this account of $73,000. So we're utilizing the funds, and you know we'll utilize a good percentage of this month as we get into drafting the warrant articles, reviewing the warrant articles by legal counsel, and other requests. So, you know, the other place where we're seeing some savings this year is ill-flow treatment, and we can speak to that as well, but I think we had some advantages this year compared to previous years because of what happened with Wolfeboro spraying last year. So, while I understand what you're saying, I think the budget is solid where it's at, and we were given this request, and we felt that it was appropriate to create a new line.
Okay, I was just wondering because 2020 was 389, 56, 74. Why couldn't we just add the money for the for water on top of that and have something about $400,000 in the budget instead of $421,000?
Well, I mean, if that's the request that the budget committee want to make, we can do that. We'll just have to figure out where we would take those funds from to make up the difference and move forward to 2021. But again, they came forward with a very specific request, and we felt it necessary to put it in the budget.
Well, I agree with the budget. I'm just adding on what was for 2020. I just historically, there seems to be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 left in this budget at the end of the year. And I think we should cut that back so that money stays in all our pockets rather than sits in a bank account for the town that's not spent. And I'm just trying to tighten this up a little bit so it's a more accurate figure. I guess I'm interested to see back in December, by December 15th to 20th. I would think everything should be spent, everything covered, so that we can see exactly what the budget was spent for 2020. Because again, historically, it looks like there's a lot of 50, 60, 70 grand left every year in the next couple of years. Thank you. Any questions on executive?
John, I have a follow-up question on that overall water case that I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering if there's any reimbursement was available since the lakes are owned by the state.
the state said, we're not doing any more testing of waters. That happened this year. And as a result, Christine Collins had to figure out a way to perform testing for the beaches. That occurred. We made that happen. So I'm not sure how we can leverage the state to take this on.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, John. I'm not sure this is going to answer your question, Bob. There's this grants out there called 319 grants that we get reimbursed for, for doing stuff. And whatever watershed people have been just prosecuting the living daylights out of getting 319 grants. They've done a super job there. When you look at Ross Pond with Winter Harbor, we haven't done much over there. So we're not looking to make any promises in the air that we're going to go after 319 grants, but I'm going to drop a name. We got a guy named Warren Mueller, I think many of us know, and he and the Lake Riverside Watershed Association are like focused on getting grant money. So is there a grant opportunity? Well, it's out there, there's fruit out there along with picking, but we're not looking at anything right now because this committee is, is all 9 months of age, just kind of getting itself going. But to answer your question, is there money available? We think so. Could we get some? We hope to. And that's one of the things that the committee, particularly the assessing committee and the mitigation committees, are looking at finding out. And that's about as far as I can go.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's move on to finance.
So, Mr. Chairman, our finance director is with us virtually this evening. Her name is Captain Carpenter. She came to us from the town of Hudson. She spent 17 years as finance director for the town of Hudson, with a total of 20 years in the finance department in Hudson. She is very well experienced in Unismart. When she got here, she was able to work with a previous long-term finance director, Peter Chamberlain, and Tim Green, our auditors, to get the documents completed to be able to get the audit in. She also has worked to get the tax rate set, and she's working now to land the 2020 budget so that we can get an audit in timely fashion. And then going forward next year, we'll be working together closely with the 2021 budget as far as a better way to capture our expenses, capital project expensing, and hopefully next year to make the 2022 budget process a little bit smoother. With that said, hand off to Casey to introduce yourself, please.
Thank you for the kind remarks, Jim. I appreciate it. So I found that this is a perfect fit for me. I relocated to Alton from Hudson, New Hampshire. I look forward to all the new initiatives here in Wolfeboro. It seemed like a perfect match with the same software. I'm familiar with the audit firm, the CRA portal, setting the tax rate. I think some of the challenges we have is we've had a lot of turnover in the finance organization in Wolfeboro. Between me and the two staff members, the HR finance officer and the accounting clerk, we never have a lot of time here in Wolfeboro doing our jobs, but we seem to be working very well together under the supervision of Jim. So I'm looking forward to tackling all the new initiatives that lay ahead of me. So with that, my budget is for the three employees that I just mentioned. Also, a big item is the audit in here. Some of the spending fluctuations over the last 2 years has been because of the turnover. There's been consolidation in machine and equipment. So it's kind of hard to do some trend analysis in this department, but I am open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Moore.
Thank you.
John, I was delighted that Kathy is with us now. That
Okay, thank you, John. Let's go to, 100 series.
Outside services. The backup adds up to $3,500 or $4,500.
You are correct.
Therefore, I make a motion to choose line 380, $3,500 as advertised.
Here, motion to change line 380 to $2,500. Is that correct, Bob?
Correct. Based on the backup.
Any more discussion on changing line, motion to change line 380 to $3,500?
Yes, John, I have
Yes, sir.
are there any typos in the backup?
No, it appears to be,
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussions? Okay, let's see, any hearing, call the roll call. Motion is to, reduce line 380 to $3,500. Bob Tupper?
Yes.
Hugh Johnson?
yes.
Tom Bell?
Yes.
Paul Morgan?
Yes.
Paul O'Malley?
Yes.
Ryan White?
Yes.
Matt Black?
Yes.
John Burke?
Yes.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. O'Connell votes yes. Motion passes 9-0. Okay, 300, 500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's the next one? I think we should tell manager like that. That's the next one. Okay, town manager. One in the series.
Line 231, Jim. I see you're making a turn. Is that something new?
Yeah, fair question. So, part of the contract that I have with the town is I do not contribute to the entry retirement system. I contribute to the ICMA retirement, so you see what I'm saying, the reduction in the entry retirement system as well.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do we have a series? 400. 500. 600. 800. The travel meeting, is that for your mileage, business, or what is that?
That would be for the various conferences. Unfortunately, since I've been in the role of town manager, going through the role of fire chief and town manager, I didn't have an opportunity to really go. And with COVID, there's been no conferences, so I haven't had the opportunity to attend one yet. The one for 2020 was supposed to have been in Montreal, but it was canceled. As far as mileage, we're looking at, I do not get mileage unless I actually get down to this.
You have to get full value to you.
I could use the code for the price of the side, but I probably would rather change it.
Okay. I think that's all I do for the town manager. Let's see here. I think we're gonna deal with the tech person, tech budget. Technology.
Your discretion, if you want to discuss technology, we can do that. I believe you also have the miscellaneous budget that you have.
Super, microphone, please. You're buzzing over there. Thank you very much.
Miscellaneous, that's it.
Yep.
Just one general question, it's one land. What are we talking about here? So many operating systems, what is this for?
Sorry that miscellaneous things that may come up through the year. So, you know, if there's a gap, we may send flowers, that type of thing. So it's pretty much keeps track of that miscellaneous type of events which may occur. You know, we provide a luncheon, if there's a retirement, those types of things.
Mr. Burke, do we have a 5-year average of this line?
Yes.
Running 50.
One moment. $4,023.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on miscellaneous? Executive operating expenses. Let's move on to health. Where are we going? Health department. Pretty sure we had some more.
I don't know.
Can you add, council to, where, we don't have the paperwork for that, you add that to the list. Jim, what else do you see left that in general government, according to your record, we need to cover?
So technology, we want to cover that, I'm prepared to speak to that. I also understood, Mr. Coppin was speaking earlier, stated that he wanted to, make some comments to your expression as to where you're going.
Yeah, whatever you can do is, it's posted, technology is posted for another day, and just try to keep it going within its schedule. And then maybe spoke to the contribute to whatever problems or whatever. Is there anything else in general government that you can see that we can?
So there's assessing, which is not, we need to finalize the contract agreement with the assessor. So the anticipation that will be for next Thursday.
Okay.
And next Thursday as well, I will provide you a briefing on the health insurance.
Okay. So according to your records, we've covered everything going to general government that we need to. Generally, okay, health is going to move from another day, and the other thing we talked about are budget for other days. Okay, I think we've covered everything that we were supposed to cover this evening.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I have a question on the executive budget. We kind of just left that line, week 72 over water, got it up in the air. Are we getting some more information from town manager, or are we just going to let that go? Or we just make it tonight, or are we revisiting it later?
What question do you like to do, Jim, as far as that executive budget?
So what I understood from it was that there was some question going forward if there can be some efficiencies gained, but I thought it was my impression that that would be going forward. There was no conversation about any changes.
Okay, the only thing I was inquiring about is if we consistently have $50,000 or $60,000 left in the budget in the budget each year, why can't, how much are we going to have left this year? And if we kept the same amount of money in the budget for 2020, can't we just add local water on top of that particular budget?
So what you're saying is if we have a balance in 2020, we utilize those funds in 2021 for a water. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, if that's possible, that would be great. But what I'm wondering is, with, just need to have so much money left over going back to the town. If it's not necessary to take it out of our pocket for the money, we'd like to keep that, rather than have to sit at the town.
And we do.
That's just me, I don't know how the other people feel, that's just.
So as far as encumbering those funds for the purpose of doing Wolfeboro water work, I would say absolutely not. We cannot do that. So, no. As far as the running balance of funds, you know, it's a risk. I mean, if we have a bad year related to legal, you know, we may overexpend that money. So that's a challenging budget because it's so diverse in what's covered, whether it's milfoil, legal, and the funds that come in, you know, the invoices which come in, they're pretty specific to which line they get tagged. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if there's a good way of doing it unless the budget committee tells me that they want to reduce the line and we'll figure it out, but I'm not sure that's what we want.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that I'm being tolerated, I'm just stating my feelings, I'd rather have money going in the police department, saying the police department
If I may, Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir. I did ask a question of the town manager or whomever is expert in this particular line. I think that needs to be more specific in terms of the materials and so forth that are used for all this work that these committees are doing. We just need, my opinion is, we need better backup. Because it looks to me like this is a slab.
We got it, Bob, we got it. We got that.
Yes, John?
You cannot use prior year funds that are left over unless they are obligated by a purchase order of some sort. If those funds are not used, then there is no contract for, you cannot use those funds in the succeeding year. Does this help explain why we can't use leftover prior year funds for here?
Not this time, John. What I was looking to find out is the budget can be tightened up a little bit, so that there would be $50,000 to $60,000 left in this particular budget every year.
Well, that's very good. I haven't been able to update my information because I haven't had enough time. But I think I remember that this budget that we're talking about here was spent only about $3,500 for.
Okay, but it doesn't show that on the report that I have.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I guess there are two issues. The first would be we can get the backup because it's not to the local waters request. And the second issue, I guess, is yours, which was could we just find some efficiencies in there, maybe send it back.
Right.
Can we get that in there?
Yeah, just to see if there's anything that can be typed up so we don't have quite as much money.
The overall.
Yeah, the whole budget left over. Wow.
What about entertaining a bottom line budget reduction of $18,650?
Yeah, let's give the town manager an opportunity to look at it himself and have it back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anything else? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, so I know we set up a revisit this DPW reorganization. I just have a couple of comments on this, and I know there are a few other guys who want to speak to this, and they actually asked me to bring this up. So, and John Worth doesn't want me to allow to get too much, so I'll try and be quick with my comments on this. So, when we were presented with this, we were only given 1 week's notice, and I feel that was very inadequate. Right? This is the type of thing I really thought we could have had a couple of workshops over the summer to address it, and I'm still a little confused about things on it. As far as the historical perspective, Dave Boyd got back here about 14 years ago. And as far as I remember, the arrangement was he was going to do the work of 2 jobs, and he was paid a year's salary for that. And he made quite a bit more money than the other department heads, and in fact, he made tens of thousands of dollars more than the town manager. So it seemed like everybody in town government was good with that, and that's the way it went. So now, with this reorganization, we're going to bring in a new $91,000 assistant. With a total of about $137,000 including benefits, and Dave Ford is going to retain his high salary, and I see a big problem with that. We will have a scenario where Dave Ford will be making tens of thousands of dollars more than his fellow department heads, and tens of thousands of dollars more than the town manager. So we're creating a scenario where other department heads and the town manager might seek to get to Dave Ford's level. We have no other corresponding information that would lead us to believe that there are some existing factors in this, and it would have been something I would have liked to jump on a little bit. We had a big budget going in. We had a lot of warrant articles, and we had an ongoing pandemic that might affect our local service industry. And I'm not so sure this is a good year to do this. And in fact, I would like to revisit this whole thing for the purposes of instituting it next year. I would like to take it for this year because I find it unacceptable. So that's the end of my comments, and so I yield to anybody else who wants to speak to this.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir. Without expending a whole lot of time covering the same ground, I absolutely agree with you. This needs to be revisited. And I'm going to use the term sandbag. It's my feeling we were sandbagging this thing last meeting. We're not given enough time to review financial impact, communicate back and forth with the proposal, parties proposing this reorganization. So therefore, I think either A needs to be revisited or B put out for the next year.
Okay, we're just, we have a schedule for revisit on December 17th, and then December 17th meeting. And that gives everyone the opportunity to think about what we said when we were doing the presentation, and we can make a determination on that day if everyone wants to know how to proceed with that particular issue. Once again, it's a town manager's job, it's what my job to manage everything, and then maybe we should be focused on what savings there will be to the town people on the cost. So, if the selectmen and the town manager can find out money in the budget, then we're better to set up the town in a particular way we want. So we want to look at the financial issue of the organization. What financially is going to have an effect on the community lives. Again, bear in mind that the town manager and the selectmen, the executive committee, we appropriate the money and spend the money in the way they want it. So understand. I'm sure they'll hear our feelings and they're really good over the past 30 years. Like we've all tried to work together, and I think this is going to drive the other community. Like putting town manager and our board of selectmen, we have their representatives. Okay, thank you. So we'll be back here next,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
what's that?
Or is that going to be on the agenda for this meeting we're talking about?
Right, it's on next Thursday, the 17th, to deal with the,
Thank you. The public works.
okay, please,
If I could say just one thing, Mr. Chairman, which also brings up the fact that they need support for the budget, a member of the budget committee going forward. To be part of salary, looking at, not necessarily setting, because it falls under the town manager, do that. Maybe going forward, if the budget committee be involved in the process, just to kind of get some feedback from the budget committee. And we are, after all voted in, we are constituency representatives, and we're part of the ballot system.
thank you, Steve. Okay. Does anyone have anything else? Yes.
Is any of the research that you're doing, I had a chance to catch up with Jim and you guys are talking, is there any other departments coming up that may be revisited that we need to line up?
Thank you, Nancy.
The question is, are there any other departments which the budget committee would like to revisit, which we've already completed?
I would say the property is going to be, yes.
Is that going to be Thursday?
No.
No, so December 17th, we'll revisit Department of Public Works and Department of Water and Sewer. I sent Dave Boyd an email during this meeting to let him know that he needs to come back for that meeting. And then during the final budget review, there should be an email, typically it comes from the town manager's office, to the department heads regarding the final budget review. And that's when department heads are asked to return and discuss any potential issues. And that's scheduled for December 28th.
How was the woman today? Did you
We had our first review last night with the Board of Selectmen. We will be conducting a second review next Wednesday at the Board of Selectmen's meeting. So we're plugging along. We're typing out the language right now, and we'll be getting out the review.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
One quick comment, just to give you everybody an update. I've been keeping it running, total on all the adjustments and proposals, capital outlays and so forth for the upcoming budget year. As we stand right now, we're 0.95% to the good compared to 2020. 0.95, almost 1%. We have reduced in comparing the 2021 budget to the 2021 budget to the 2020 budget. We have improved, we have reduced it by 1%. That's what we stand right now. That includes the capital outlays. It does not include, obviously, it doesn't include warrant articles.
Right, okay. Very good. Do you have anything else? Okay, for
Yes, Gentlemen, John?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of requests for Kathy, a couple here. Number one, next week we have the fall budget on the agenda, and I was wondering if we could get the copy of the fall budget within a reasonable amount of time prior to that meeting. And number two, can we get a summary sheet of the operating budget similar to what Pete Chamberlain is going to give us? Because I find Bob Lowen's statement just a little confusing. As I recall, early on in our meetings, I believe Jim Pinio said the general fund side of the operating budget was going to top $15 million in 2021. And this year, the general fund side of the operating budget was about $14.2 million. So that led me to believe that our general fund was going up approximately $800,000. Now, I think what Bob Bowman may not have in his summary is the fact that a considerable amount of debt service is going into the budget, and we have not even addressed that, and that would be on its summary sheet. And we have also not looked at any of the health insurance lines, or any, the health insurance line. So, as far as I know, without looking at a summary sheet, I believe Jim Pinio gave us the idea that our general fund is going up about $800,000. So that's what I would like. I would like a summary sheet for next week, and I would like a reasonable amount of time to look at the fall. Okay, please.
Mr. Town Manager, you were commenting at
We'll work on that, yes. And I'm going to pull up I'm going to put in front of my camera a summary sheet that I am working on giving to the budget committee. I have a computer issue, but this is the summary sheet which you will be receiving. It's similar to the sheets you've already received.
2019 to 2020 to 2021 proposed.
And Jim, are my assumptions correct? Are we talking 15 million on the general fund side?
So, yeah, that is correct, Bob.
Thank you.
So debt service in the general fund, we're looking at $1,007,000, which is an increase of $147,000.
Does that include the transferring from the sewer of the sewer debt service?
That does not.
Okay, so with the two together, we're looking at about over 1.5 million in debt service in the general fund.
Okay, very quick, so, Jim, we're going to get that from you. And do everything else. Okay, can I get a motion concerning, having the meeting, for the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Okay, roll call vote. Bob Puffer?
Yes.
Bob Holden? Yes. Steve Johnson?
Yes.
Mike Flash?
Yes.
Bob Hall?
Yes.
Carl Bell?
Yes.
John Burke?
Yes.
Brian Black? And Tom Pope, yes. Thank you, everyone.